Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm back with a community lot, and we're doing one for the vampires today. This is actually going to be a vampire bar, and I'm building it on the lot where Vlad's mansion normally is. I felt like having this cool vampire bar at the top of the world, at the top of this hill here, would be really cool. And it's supposed to be like a mixture of a couple of different styles. The shape of the building is a bit more modern, but I have some more traditional looking windows throughout, and the interior is very black, red, and like gothic, and I really love how this build came out. It took me a really long time to figure out how to make it come together. The outside in particular, the color swatches, they just took a long time, and the final color I get on the outside isn't actually until the very end of this build after I finish the entire interior, but we'll get there in the end. This is the basic shape we are going for, where there's like a tower at the entrance. That is where like the main logo is going to go, and then there's a bigger box out back. Upstairs is just so the ceilings are taller. There's nothing to do up there. I just put a chandelier, but there is a basement in this lot, so if you have vampires that need to go take a rest in a coffin or maybe woohoo in a coffin, those are supplied in the basement. As always, if you hear any background noises, that is my kitten Lulu. She is on my desk right now and getting into everything, so you might hear her. And also, I might sound a little bit different right now as I am getting over a cold right now, which is why I haven't been posting as much on the channel as of late. But I'm starting to feel better now, and I'm still in the midst of pre-recording to go away next week for TwitchCon, so there will be some more videos coming up. It's just my voice may not be 100% back to normal throughout that, as I'm still recovering. But the outside here, I am getting the logo I ended up using in this build. I think it looks so cool. I go back and forth if it's going to be red or white for a really long time, and changing the colors out here between red, black, white, some wood tones, and I tried to leave a decent amount of that in so you could see the process. I've been keeping more of like the decision making process in recent videos, and a lot of y'all seem to enjoy that, so I kept that in mind here. And yeah, just trying to figure out the front door. I don't end up using these windows or doors, but that is what I was trying to achieve. And I also really liked using platforms on this build to give the illusion that there is a second story on the other half of the build, but there isn't. That's just a platform. I just thought it gave the structure more structure, basically. I just thought it looked more interesting that way. But here I am messing around with some wood tones and then getting these windows from a romantic garden stuff. These are the ones I wanted to use from the beginning, but I wasn't sure how to achieve it with this shape of build. But I'm so glad that I played around with it and added these because I think they look so nice and they are exactly what I wanted. I also decided to frame pretty much the entire outside of the build with these pieces from the Decor to the Max kit. They're like molding pieces for the wall, and I just think they add some really cool texture to the exterior, so I was quite happy with that. And then I grabbed some of these awnings. I'm actually going to be changing them out for different ones later, but the windows I'm placing down now from Get Together, so perfect. I love them. I use them in this tower piece and then inside as like sort of a divider between the main bar area and a more private dining space. And I just think they are gorgeous with the stained glass. They match the color scheme I wanted to go for of black and red. And then I am going to start working on landscaping and playing around with the roof here because I really had no idea what I was going to do. I was originally kind of thinking it was just going to be a flat roof, but it looked so weird and I didn't know what to do. So I just experimented quite a bit. And I ended up having a rounded roof that leads you into the front entryway. And then I end up having two of those up on the top of this tower piece. And I think that looks really nice in the end. It just takes me a little while to get to that point. But just getting some columns here to support this roof and getting some beautiful spandrels from the Vampires pack. I used a lot of packs in this build. It's not limited whatsoever, but I did try to use a decent amount of Vampires. I thought it worked nicely for this build, obviously. And then some of the pieces inside, I used a lot of base game for like the whole bar setup because the bar that we get with Vampires is only a 2-tile bar, but I wanted this to be like a bake bar, like that you go into, and that's a majority of what the inside is like a wraparound bar. So I used base game for that, and the like booths I ended up using on the inside are actually from Journey to Batu, and I think they are so perfect. I can't wait for you to see the inside of this build. I am so proud of it. But we're just grabbing some cars now and chucking them over to the side because I wanted to make sort of like a parking lot. Think what I did on the rundown motel I did recently, if you've seen that build. If not, I'll link it down below. I built that in the werewolves world, and it was like run by a werewolf, but it was a really grungy, disgusting old motel, and I created a cool parking lot with that, and I liked that idea to include on this build as well, even though this was a much nicer, newer establishment. It was just really cool to build like an occult bar. I feel like I don't do things like this that often, and of course I wanted to do some more of these sort of builds for the month of October. I like doing Halloween themed things. This is my favorite time of year. I've probably mentioned that a bunch of times by now, but I want to have some more things that I'll post on the channel revolving around Halloween, October, autumn in general. So keep an eye out. I will hopefully have some more, but very excited to share this one, and I hope you enjoy it. Oh my goodness, what are you doing, little girl? She's just like hitting everything. I feel like I have to mention it in every video because if you haven't seen my videos in the last couple of months, you wouldn't know that I got a new kitten. And she'd be like, what are those noises in the background? She tends to bump into things a lot because she only has one eye, and she has really bad depth perception because of that. But she's a cutie. If you want to see pictures of her, I do have those on social media, both on Twitter and in my Discord server as well, which is always linked in the description. But yeah, just working on some more of the terrain paint here. At some point in time, the terrain paint disappears and I have to redo it. I don't show the whole process of redoing it later, but it'll just disappear and then come back. So no worries on that. That's just like way later after I finish decorating the interior. I come back out and fix it all up and add some finishing touches. About front, I wanted to have a little bit of fencing separating the front of this lot. I also have one of these lampposts that had fallen over, which I thought was a cool decoration. I do end up adding some like regular lampposts that match that are standing up throughout this lot as well. Just to make it more cohesive, and of course getting plenty of dirt to put under the plants. Just messing around with that quite a bit. And like I said, I will be adding more later, but I didn't record all of it because I thought it would be quite repetitive. But I did really like scaling up this archway. This version of it is in debug, so I was able to scale that and make it like the entry to the parking lot, which I thought added a lot of interest to this area. And then I'm going to be drawing out the parking lot spaces for all of the cars. So that is what I'm doing here, just using this low-lying fence from Get to Work. I think it is so helpful that this item exists. I use it quite a lot, this fence, and I always get questions on it. There's other items you could use to draw out parking spots. There are some decals that I think came with, oh goodness, is it spa day, maybe? There's some that are like for lining the pool, I think. And I've used those before, but I mostly use this fence because I think it's just easier to draw out a fence. And then just getting some more landscaping over there. A mixture of like darker plants and also some dead rose bushes and just scattering the trees around. I tried to use a lot of stuff that came with debug with vampire so it would match the world, but not everything. But we're moving inside now, so you can enter into the entryway here. And I thought it would be nice to have 2 coat closets because that's pretty realistic for the entryway to a restaurant or a bar. But also that's another woohoo location, which I know as simmers, we like to keep in mind when we are having community lots or homes, like where are all of our woohoo locations? So we actually have 2 here. We have 2 closets and then there are 2 coffins as well. So I guess it's 4, but 2 different types. And then I was trying to figure out the bathroom. I ended up putting it on the other side, but I'm realizing that after I place it, so I just kind of moved the room over. And I think that worked a lot better. And then I wanted the bar to be the focal point when you first walk in. So I used the Space Game one with the matching counters so that it all looks really cohesive. And the whole inside is very, very dark, as you would imagine, that it's all black and red. You might have seen that in the thumbnail. And I think it just looks really stunning. And I hope you will like it as well. I realize I haven't said this yet. If you do like this build and you would like to download it, it is available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find that information in the description down below as well, if it's easier for you to grab it that way. But then I am just trying to add these little pillars to kind of make the bar stand out a little bit more. And actually what I end up doing is one of them is just like a walkway so your Sims that work here can get to behind the bar. And then the other one ends up having a door to the basement. So only employees have access, which I thought was kind of a fun idea. So That is what I'm doing now, and then trying to figure out some tiling and flooring in here, which takes me a little bit, but I do end up using the tiling from the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack. And I also end up using some carpet in here in one of the rooms that I'm going to separate off sort of in a little while. And that's a carpet from Vampires. I also tried to bring in the wood and it just wasn't working for me. I do eventually get rid of the wood on the inside and on the outside of this build. I wanted to use it, but it wasn't feeling like a vampire bar to me. I liked it, but like not for this build. So I do end up getting rid of that shortly. Moving on to the dining spots, I really wanted to use these booth seating pieces from the Journey to Batu pack. I thought they were the perfect color and they were really grand and they felt correct. Something about like a high back sofa felt very vampire-like to me for some reason. So that's what I ended up doing over here. I ended up extending the bathroom so that they kind of felt nuzzled into the space, like they fit perfectly. And I will be extending a wall out to sort of separate that room, and I add a third one of those booths over there. But first, we're figuring out the stairway to head down into the basement. I do need to rotate that. There's a kitten biting me on my desk. So we're just doing that now, and I'll come back to the basement later on to decorate it. I just wanted to have the layout going. So here I am adding the logo to the inside of the build. I add that a couple of different times in here. I just think it looks nice and realistic to have the logo of the establishment throughout, and it's a good decoration as well. And then I got the other seating over here, and I don't think I add the carpet until later, but I do paint the walls in here. I tried using some Vampires wallpaper, but I ended up using the one from Paranormal in the end. I just think it is so pretty. And then I'm trying it over here as well, and just not really sure what I want to go for, and playing around with changing the color of the sign, and we get there in the end, but I wanted to keep in some of the experimenting. So I do end up getting these little lights above the table. These are from Journey to Batu as well. I found that pack was very helpful in this build. Oh, also those wall lights that I have on either side of the bar, those are from the Paranormal stuff pack, and they are so pretty. I also thought about using the shelf from Home Chef Hustle behind the bar. I ended up getting rid of it in the end because I wanted to hang up some bottles of actual like liquor for your Sims to have. So I got rid of that in the end, but I think it's a cool idea, and I wanted to have a sign here as well with the logo. So I was just scaling that with Tool, trying to make it work. I also got this couch from Vampires in this section that was a little bit more open, trying to find some things to fill all of the space. And then I wanted to have like all sorts of artwork all over the walls, mostly from Vampires, but I mixed in some other stuff as well. So we have a big portrait of Vlad, some of these other vampire paintings. I also got this pampas grass from the Industrial Loft kit that came in an all black swatch. I thought that was perfect. And of course I wanted to get some TVs in here since it is a bar. I thought, having the TVs on made sense. And I believe that was a required thing for this lot anyway. And then there is the rug that I put in that little dining space. I think it is so pretty. I was really, really happy with that. And I put different vases of flowers on all of these tables, but it did repeat one of them in the other room, which is going to be the one I grab here shortly from my wedding stories. I think it's really pretty. So I ended up putting it on the bar as well, and on the other table that I will be adding into the main space. And then behind the bar, I just got some of those like non-slip mats so your Sims don't slide and fall. And then I added a couple of chairs in here as well. It makes it a little bit more cluttered, but they were required for the lot, and I thought that they looked nice, so I ended up doing that. And then in the bathroom we go to add like sinks and stuff, and the bathroom ends up being very simply decorated, which I will get to in a little bit. But first I wanted to get a record player out here since we needed a stereo for this lot. I thought that would be a nice one. And then I ended up coming into this tower bit and cutting out the ceiling or the flooring and having a long chandelier in here just so it fills up the space nicely. And I was quite happy with that. But this is where I am grabbing the bottles of juice for your Sims. And I end up using the tool mod to push that into the wall a little bit so that the blue backing is not showing. It just looks like bottles on the wall. And then I get rid of the other shelf from Home Chef Hustle, and I add a plant back here, just add a little bit of life to the space. But most of the plants and flowers I'm using are like black and red and things like that. But I thought that was a nice little pop of green in this space. And then we're over at this little booth space, and I'm just adding a bunch more paintings. I'm using some from Paranormal as well as werewolves and vampires. I got this little clock up here. I think this space looks so cute, and I got a railing heading down the stairs from the entryway. and just put a rug up there as well as a menu of what's on the menu for tonight, which is probably going to be blood. And with that, I actually ended up putting a bunch of plasma packs behind the counter. And here I am grabbing some of those different different like wine glasses and plasma packs and putting them on top of a mini fridge back here. I started by using this mini fridge from Straud, but I ended up switching it out for the one from Discovery University in the end because I didn't like that you could see the face masks through this, unfortunately. So I did swap that. And then I got some more bottles of wine over here. This really cool bust that we got from the Modern Luxe kit. And there is that different mini fridge. And then, of course, getting some curtains in here. Once again, using Modern Luxe because they are so perfect. I feel like they're my favorite new curtains in the game, and I'm going to be using them constantly. But we're finally back in the bathroom. This ends up being a really simple room. I just have 2 stalls, 2 sinks, and like a paper towel dispenser, as well as some like hand sanitizer or soap, and a couple of trash cans. And I believe I put some artwork on the wall as well. I think it's the collage from Paranormal, just to add something in here. But it's a really simple bathroom. I felt like it didn't need much. I do change one of the stall swatches though, so it has graffiti. And then I'm adding some more posters and stuff in this private dining area. I wanted them all to be like vampire or, I don't know, haunted looking. So I tried to grab paintings that felt like they fit that theme. And then we're heading on into the basement, the final room of this build. I decided to use this archway from the Werewolves pack. I think it looks so nice because it's like broken bricks. And then I knew I wanted to have a couple of coffins down here, and outside of that, I wasn't entirely sure what. I do end up getting an organ down here, as well as the globe bar and a couple of couches. And I'm trying to think what else I put down here. I think just some rugs. I want it to be a cozy space, like your Sims can come down here to sleep if they are vampires. Or maybe they bring someone down here to romance, so they have the couches to like sit down and kiss, and then they can go do whatever else in the coffins if they would like to. I just wanted it to be a space that could be multifunctional in that way. And to bring on the romance, I did add a fireplace down here as well, or to bring on the Sims dying of a fire in the basement of a vampire bar. Like some of them might turn into vampires, others might perish in the fire in the basement. There's different ways to play with this lot, but I thought it would be nice. And then I'm just trying to figure out what to put on this wall back here. I do end up changing it. I end up putting some more of the like wall mounted candles over there. I'm going to be putting some on this wall, and then I'm going to be putting them on the other side as well. I was just trying to figure it out as I went, and I think it ends up being really cozy down here, especially because I wasn't sure what I wanted this space to be. I just knew it's vampires. I should probably have a basement with coffins in it. So I'm pretty happy with it. The upstairs though, so in love with it. I also added a couple of tables outside. I feel like your Sims are probably not going to use these that much because vampires don't tend to like to go outside. But if it's at night, they can because there's no sun. And I feel like Forgotten Hollow is pretty overcast most of the time. So it's fine. It's totally fine. But we're back outside now, finishing up some landscaping. I got some shrubs out front, and we're just rotating that lantern. I also got this arrow that lights up from the bowling pack. I thought that was kind of fun. And then getting some more greenery over by the parking lot. And I also put some like artwork on the wall where the brick is over here. I just wanted it to look realistic and like it wasn't just a flat, boring side of the building. It is pretty flat and boring, but that's pretty realistic. But I just wanted something on it, so I got that decal. And this is where I'm trying to make this tower red instead of black. And I end up finding the perfect wallpaper, which is this one from Eco Lifestyle. It is such a deep, like blood red, and I thought it was so perfect. So with that, this build is coming to a close. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Please enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.